While our efforts have been reasonably successful, we know that no country has been totally insulated from the pain and hardship being felt throughout the world. So we are vigilant in our efforts to respond quickly to changing circumstances. Ralph Recto gave us a 300 billion peso stimulus package, or $7 billion, bigger than many of the Southeast Asian countries, even if our growth rate is better than theirs. But that stimulus package is always open for refinement as we go along. We have been relatively lucky. I keep hearing that suerte, suerte, suerte. We have been relatively lucky because we worked hard to be lucky. We have been able to cushion the blow today because of the pain we endured yesterday. With the support of Congress and our dedicated civil servants, we took the economic reform medicine and improved our banking system, raised revenue, cracked down on smugglers, and streamlined our revenue system. That allowed us to have the resources to make significant investments in our country for the first time in those quantities in a generation. New money for roads, bridges, and ports. New investments in healthcare, education, and social services. Our domestic strength also comes in large part from our counter-cyclical policy. When I was in Davos, one of the famous professors was saying the problem with many of the countries that have to follow the multilaterals is that their policies are pro-cyclical. But in our country, we have been able to do a counter-cyclical policy. On fiscal policy, we increased taxes in good times, and now we have increased spending in bad global times. Both the national and the local governments now have room to spend and borrow because the local governments this year are enjoying the biggest increase of 40 billion pesos in their internal revenue because there is a 3-year lag in the computation. So since we increased the VAT, we implemented the VAT increase 3 years ago, now they will get their share from the VAT increase. What a serendipity, they can spend now when spending is needed. On monetary policy, well, we all know that aside from Gary Teves being the finance minister of the year for Asia, Saite Tanco has been rated among our A central bankers in the world. The central bank has been prudent with rates generally high during good times, while now lowering rates during bad local times and some more room to ease if necessary. The financial sector has been strengthened to supplement its innate domestic orientation and inherent conservatism. Learning from the 1997 financial crisis, we worked out reforms, including the Special Purpose Vehicle Assets Act and other banking reforms, leading to lower non-performing loans and loan deposit ratios. And we have healthy gross international reserves of almost $40 billion, much more than our need for imports, compared to the $15 billion that our administration inherited several years ago. But we must move quickly if we are to ensure that our economy stays on path. So that is what I was just telling Peter Fabile earlier when we were in the holding room waiting for Gary to finish his talk. We have to move quickly. Let's not wait for that and that to move before we do. Let's not wait for Congress to pass this or that because we have lump sums in our budget. Let's not wait for the private sector to come up with their part of the promise of the 100 billion peso private sector fund. Let's work on our 50 billion contribution. We have accelerated our investments in 2009. These expenditures, however, are not meant to break the bank. We have brought forward investments to further stimulate the economy, to help our people, and to sustain the growth that has been so important to our economic success. We remain mindful through all this spending that this acceleration of investments must be balanced. We cannot abandon our hard-fought gains in fiscal discipline. We may increase the deficit, yes, but it must be a finite number and not the sky's the limit. We must have a projection, a ceiling that we will stay under. We are well aware that we must both spend wisely and be prudent if we are to leave our nation in a healthy condition for the next generation. That is the road we were on before the onset of this global crisis. That is the road on which we would like the country to continue when this challenge has passed. The world financial crisis appears deeper than most anticipated. However, I don't think our plans are doomed to fail. We remain cautiously hopeful that we can continue to insulate the Philippines from the full frontal assault that much of the world is experiencing. Yet, we realize with each passing day, that objective becomes a greater challenge, and therefore, we must always be ready to innovate. Our government is up to the challenge, but it is clear that our success will come only if it is a true team effort. Government will do its part, but the private sector must step up and seize the opportunity we are creating. We have created a nation that is more stable and secure than at any time in recent memory. Working together, we have created a better deal, if you will, than many countries in the region. So now I call upon the leaders of our private sector to take up the challenge at this important time. Join your government and continue to invest in our nation's future. Work with us to ensure that our nation's limited resources, finite resources, are able to meet the objective of improving the lives of the people of the Philippines. We must all band together to shoulder the responsibility of bringing our nation through these challenging global times. As I said, to date we have been successful, but now is not the time to be laid back or inactive. It is a time to step up to the challenge and work hard to ensure our nation's bright economic future. We are a tough, proud, and resilient people. Our resilience has proven its worth this past year. It will see us through to the global economic rebound that we all know will eventually come. But if we are to continue on the path to progress, we must act together in common purpose to provide the long-term opportunities our people want and deserve. Finally, for your commitment to the Philippine economy, a commitment that will continue to pay dividends for many years to come. To all of you, maraming salamat and thank you.